Hey there, fellow artists. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm super excited to share that my Cigar Box Guitar Workshop is now operational. There is so much potential for this space, and Lawrence and I are currently in the midst of brainstorming how we want our live performance area to look and what equipment we'll be using in there. But for now, my main focus is taking the CBG ideas that are swirling around in my head and turning them into a reality. So come on in. Let's take a tour. First off, let me show you my homemade work risers. The workbench that's behind me was built by the previous owner of the garage, but it was set up for someone who must have been really tall. For me, it felt way too high to safely operate my new power tools. So I turned to some free pallets I found around town and added some inexpensive rubber mats using super glue. Just like that, I added a comfy 4 inches to my work height for less than $100. Pretty neat, huh? Now, let's take a peek under the bench. I took sides from an old wall unit that we had planned to toss out and positioned them across the support beams of the workbench. This makeshift shelf lets me keep my smaller and larger tools organized. You might have noticed that I went with the open shelving option instead of drawers. From my experience, anything that's tucked away in a drawer tends to get forgotten. My open shelves let me see everything at a glance, which is super helpful. On one side, I've arranged my smaller hand tools and accessories, and on the opposite side, you'll find my larger tools like my miter saw and belt sander. The workbench top got a little makeover too. I used a random orbital sander and added some polyurethane to bring it back to life. I'm keeping the work surface clear with the exception of my FuseWorks craft kiln. That has a permanent spot on the bench because I make ceramic guitar slides a lot, but mostly I'll be adding the tools as I need them so I can move components around easily while working on my cigar box guitars. Thinking back to my first workshop, which was just a small little table on my porch, I can tell you that it was a bit cramped even when I was just working with small hand tools. To keep my space tidy, I'll be installing my tools as I need them and working in batches. That way, I won't overwhelm myself by bolting everything down at once, minimizing my workspace. For example, I might spend a couple of days just carving out holes with my new laser engraver. More about that in a bit. Or a dedicated few days to shaping guitar necks with my belt sander. This method keeps everything neat and manageable, and it's nice to keep my workspace open. Up on the top shelf, I got a couple of baskets filled with what I call my off-grid tools and their accessories. It's finally great to have everything organized and have a designated area for all of my items. If you could take a look behind me, one fun project that I tackled was upcycling some blocks from a salvaged CD shelf. I painted them with chalkboard paint. This opens up some fun possibilities for decorating. I also put chalkboard paint on the equipment shelf we'll be using in our live space. I'm thinking about creating a graffiti style background that I can change depending on what performance we're having that day. To make things even more exciting, I'm considering using glow in the dark chalk and placing a black light underneath the shelf to make those designs really pop. This idea came to me after visiting Pole Monkeys, the last juke joint in the country before it sadly closed in 2018. I had the pleasure of experiencing it with my father during an experimental electronic music event of all things. It had a chill vibe, but what really stuck with me were the decor and the ambience. The place was adorned with Christmas lights, and there were stuffed animals stapled to the ceiling. Plus, visitors could scribble their names on the walls. Those creative touches made it a special place. That experience inspired me to transform this garage workshop into our own little juke joint where we can hopefully host live performance live streams for you and the live audience made up of family and friends. I've got those Christmas lights ready to go, as you can see, but I want to take the lighting up a notch. I dream of making everything programmable. However, I'm saving that project for a bit later. There's just so much to do right now. But trust trust me, I'll keep you updated on all of the progress. And now, let's shine a spotlight on this cool piece of equipment that has its own special spot on my workbench, my amazing laser engraver. This tool is going to open up so many creative possibilities in my CBG projects. Today, I'm working on carving exquisite violin F holes on my freshly obtained cigar boxes using this incredible machine. Over the past few days, I've been familiarizing myself with this laser engraver and the software used to run it. And let me tell you, it's been a bit challenging, but a fun learning experience. If you've been contemplating adding a laser engraver to your CBG toolkit but are hesitant because you're unsure on how to operate one, I have good news for you. I'm preparing a detailed written tutorial on how to set up a laser engraver specifically for creating sound holes in cigar boxes. This detailed tutorial will be featured in my upcoming newsletter. So if you'd like to get a sneak peek into the process before taking the plunge, then I encourage you to join my mailing list for free and become one of my super subs. You can find the subscription link, as always, in the video description box below. I'm already more than halfway through my written tutorial, so my next newsletter will be out in a few days. So go ahead and subscribe for free in the video description box. Thus far, I've successfully carved 3 stunning Arturo Fuente boxes, and I've decided to sell these beauties as I have plans to use perdomos in my next build. So here are the 3 Arturo Fuentes boxes I've carved out thus far. Each one has its own unique characteristics, as I've been experimenting with my settings in my laser engraving software to achieve the right balance between cutting and precision and efficiency. The first box is beautifully crafted with clean cuts, though it took quite a long time to make. The second box has a rustic charm due to the significant charring that resulted from adjusting the settings for faster cuts. The third box sort of kind of finds the sweet spot, featuring less charring while maintaining a reasonable cut time. These boxes measure 7.5 by 9.5 inches by 2.5 inches in thickness and are available at just $20 each plus shipping. Currently, I'm only shipping within the US, so I apologize to my international friends. If you're interested in snagging one or all of these boxes, feel free to shoot me an email at psycheoperaco@gmail.com. I will coordinate with you and my local UPS store so that you don't pay more than needed for shipping. My email address is also in the video description. Super subs, include your discount code in your email to me so that I can factor in your 10% discount off the base price. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my workshop reveal and that you're pumped up for getting creative. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Chaito.